My sister-in-law was cheating on her partner. I secretly helped him move out.
All right. Get his stuff on the curb.
Ooh. About 5 years ago, I moved about 15 hours away from my hometown for a job. Shortly after moving, I met my now wife, Becca.
Yep. Wife Becca.
A few years ago, I had a buddy, JR, from back home come stay with me. Buddy JR and OP, they're living together. And while here, he met my wife's sister, Maggie. There we go. So JR and Maggie hit it off. They pretty quickly started dating. Maggie has a daughter from a previous relationship. Daughter's dad is very much in the picture. By the way, this comes from Vast Basis 2273. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, almost a year ago, Maggie and JR moved in together. It's getting serious.
Baby. It's getting serious.
Getting real serious. And speaking of which, how's the chart looking, Sammy?
Chart is looking good.
There we go.
We got JR and Maggie in a relationship. Maggie has a daughter, and the daughter has a dad. That is not JR.
Bingo. So Maggie is like the sister-in-law, right? OP sister-in-law?
Maggie is Becca, sister-in-law. Becca's sister.
Yes. There we go.
Which is the wife of OP.
Yes. So at the time, sister-in-law Maggie was living with her parents because she could not afford rent on her own. Things seemed to be going along well. It is a long story, but almost 2 months ago, JR got pretty irrefutable proof that Maggie was cheating on him.
Ooh. Oh, no. Oh, no. What was the proof? What was the proof? Did he hear moans to the walls?
Ooh, that would not be fun proof.
Spicy pics.
Oh, that's probably worse.
Yeah. Which is where I would rather see spicy pics than hear moans to the walls.
Yeah, I guess it's like it's like feeling it live and direct.
Yeah. Like everyone knows the live experience is more. It's a lot. It's more. It's just more.
You don't want the live in concert of your partner cheating on you. Let's do the pre-recorded. Also, that thing was spitting out more than Maggie was.
Oh, Maggie. Oh,
sorry.
No. Oh,
sorry.
no.
Our printer was spitting prints. I can't help it. So, of course, he was angry, depressed, and overall distraught. He could not deal with confronting her, but he could also not deal with living with her. The classic dilemma.
Yeah.
He talked to me and wanted my help to get away. So I reached out to my network of people who are not mutual friends of Becca and I to get him a place to stay. Becca, sister-in-law Maggie, and Maggie's daughter, and my mother-in-law were going out of town to visit mother-in-law's mom a few weeks after he found out. Dude, OP just confuses people the most confusing way possible.
Mother-in-law's mom. Ugh.
Dude, come on. Grandma-in-law.
Yeah.
Grandma-in-law, come on.
Grandma-in-law.
I had a work friend with a rent house. I helped JR pack his stuff, which is like 90% of the apartment, and he moved out. He sent an email to Maggie about why he left and moved out. He left a check for rent, utilities through the end of March when their lease is up. Wow, great timing.
Dang.
And informed the landlord that he was not renewing. Super quick pause here. Was this a good move? Yes or no? To just like leave, email.
I mean, he wants to get out of it. I mean, I feel like he did a good job of like making sure all of his bases are covered.
Yes.
In terms of not screwing her over completely, but saying, hey, I'm not going to be here anymore.
Yeah.
I think having a conversation would be good.
Yeah.
Because we've had situations where we've discovered irrefutable evidence, but then turns out it was refutable.
That is true.
So I think usually just having a conversation first, saying, hey, this is what I found out, I'm going to leave, and just giving the person a chance to respond, especially if it's not like an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
I think that would be okay.
OP says Maggie got the email and called JR numerous times while on the trip. My wife called me and asked what was going on and where JR was. I told her that JR moved out and he was safe, but I will not tell her where he is. They got back and Maggie flipped out about all of the stuff that JR took. My wife was quite angry and demanded to know where JR was. I kept telling her that he is safe, but I am not telling her where he is at. The last month has been tense, and my wife has begged me and made threats to know where JR is. This is like...
Oh, I wonder what the threats are.
Yeah, like
no head for a week.
I'm moving out, and I'm not telling you. That's
a little bit more than mine.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. So she has even tried using my phone to impersonate me to call JR and get information out of him.
Hey, that feels like a violation of the trust of the relationship.
Yeah, dude. It's checking the phone. It's like basically the same. You're getting into the phone.
I don't know if I like that.
Maybe worse. I have since changed my passcode. She says, we are married. This is affecting my family. I deserve to know. Tell me what I need to know. But I refuse. She has even talked about this being divorceable. So, am I the a-hole? We have edits. We have irrelevant comments. We have updates, I'm pretty sure. We've got so much more left in the story to dissect, but we have to answer this question.
I mean,
is OP the a-hole right now?
Is OP the... I don't think so. I think he's protecting his friend JR's privacy.
Yeah.
I do think JR should have had one final conversation with Maggie, just saying, hey, this is what I know. But I don't think that's OP's problem to deal with. I think all he's doing is protecting the privacy of his friend. Doesn't sound like JR stole anything that isn't his.
Maybe that's debatable because like they said he took 90% of stuff and Maggie was freaking out. So I imagine there could be some crossover or something that could have been a conversation. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Which again, like that's why I feel like JR not saying anything.
Yes.
About like what he's doing, what he's taking. Like, I mean, you can't just let's say you co-own certain stuff.
Yep.
And you just leave. I mean, you're effectively stealing whatever percentage ownership that Maggie may have had, like if they bought a couch together or whatever.
Yes.
But all that to say, is it OP's issue? Like, no, I think him protecting the privacy of JR is okay. And I think the fact the wife is being so snoopy on the phone and like threatening divorce, that feels really unhealthy.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing some red flags. But guys, we got an edit. We've got some more info, okay? So, number one, my wife knows why JR left. So, she knows about the cheating, which is good. Maggie has admitted to the cheating since he left. Point number three, my wife denies knowing about the cheating, and I do believe her. Historically, Maggie and Becca are not that close. Prior to JR moving here, we would see Maggie once every maybe 3 months-ish. Since JR moved, we see her a lot more because JR and I regularly organize get-togethers, which is why my wife's reaction is so surprising to me. It's like, hey, you weren't even like that close. Why are you unreasonably defending her? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I guess it makes me wonder, and this is conspiracy theory, but is there something that OP's wife is hiding that she think will be exposed by, JR leaving?
Did Maggie poison the well? She's like, hey, I cheated, but XYZ, and that's kind of painting a reason why she's more in her corner. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, your family.
Or like, I'm even wondering, like, Maggie and Becca went on some girls' bachelor trip and they both did something naughty, and Becca's worried that JR is gonna tell OP. I don't know. That I feel like that's a conspiracy theory.
But it could be that would explain the logic.
Yeah, and it be like, it just feels like OP's wife. I guess all I'm thinking right now is OP's wife seems to have something to lose, which is why she's acting so sus. And I'm wondering what that is.
Point number four, the stuff JR took was only his stuff. In fact, a lot of stuff he left is also his stuff. So he left some of his stuff behind even. Other than gadgets, he left all the kitchen things despite it being 100% his. Wow. He left all of the stuff in my niece's room, even though he had paid for a lot of it. And there was no consensus. OP basically received majority, not the a-hole.
Which I think not the a-holes. I think we're in agreement here too.
I agree. We got some relevant comments here. So how did JR find out about Maggie's cheating? OP says text messages with her affair partner. Maggie freely admits she was cheating, even admitted it in voicemails and text messages to JR after he sent the email.
I wonder why.
There's no dispute about that.
Why was she so... I mean, I guess that's one green flag. Like, if you're going to cheat, freely admit it.
Just like, okay, yeah, which so often we see people just like... And it's like, the jig is up. You might as well at least be honest about it now. So
yeah. Hey, one gold star for Maggie.
Maybe like a point on the star.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like one of the little arms.
Yeah.
Did JR take some of Maggie's stuff when he moved out? Opie says none of what we moved out was her stuff. I helped him move in. It was all his. There were big ticket items like the bed, living room TV, couches, dining room table, but it was all stuff that he had before he moved here. Much of it he had before they even started dating. And I guess that does leave her. She comes home and she's like, okay, well, now I have no bed. I have no. So again, maybe another point in the conversation.
Yeah.
Just give her a.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like she might have agreed, like, hey, yeah, this is all your stuff, but the fact that it's just all gone, there's an emotional yeah, she can plan a little bit more. Also, just I mean, like thinking about the kid, like the kid is and the kid comes back and is like, Mom, where's all of our crap?
Why do we live in a box now?
Yeah. I feel like just thinking of the kid too, you know, you want to create a nice transition for the kid.
Commenter number 1 says, I get the feeling that there is info being left out, but I can't really put my finger on what it is.
I'm thinking too. Yeah.
I think so too. So I'm going to ask a few questions. Who is Maggie cheating with? How old is Maggie's daughter? What's the long-term plan here? This guy is your best friend and you just plan to keep him secret forever? Why is your wife so invested? Does she feel that she got closer with her sister since GR was there to get everyone together? And now that he is gone, she fears that she'll lose this closeness with her. So maybe one reason why she's defending her so much. Please ask your wife, what would she say or do if she did know where JR is? She plans to bully him into coming back or what? If Maggie was so dependent on this relationship, why did she cheat? Did she have a history of cheating? And OP responds to that interrogation.
Let's go.
Of juicy
Exciting.
info. Okay. So who was the person? A coworker. The affair partner was a coworker. Well, JR is trying to figure that out. He's considering whether he's going to stay here or move back home. He's not able to remain in hiding forever. But right now, this is the situation. I suspect that in the next 3-ish months for him to figure out what his plan's going to be. In the meantime, I am not saying where he is to my wife. Maggie was always the kid who could not get her crap together. It annoyed Becca to no end. With JR moving in, it felt like Becca was getting her crap together.
So maybe she's worried that like Maggie's gonna fall to pieces.
And
without
maybe
JR.
that's also going to be her problem too.
Yeah, that feels plausible. It's like, oh, finally someone took control of this mess of a person.
Yeah.
I had some rest, and now it's like, oh, I'm gonna have to go back into it.
Back to it, yeah, especially with the breakup. Now she's afraid things are going to revert. My in-laws are frustrated by that possibility too. They like JR and want to talk to JR to see what they can do to salvage the situation. Everyone wants JR back, dude.
Everyone's like, oh my God, you helped this family so much. Please.
You fumbled the bag.
We'll pay you. We'll pay you
right?
to just take care of her.
Dude, what's the price? JR is one of the nicest guys in the world and does not want to upset them. Ultimately, they feel like they have seen Maggie actually be a functioning adult and are deeply afraid if JR leaves that she will just stop doing that. OP on the possibility of his wife cheating and Maggie covering up for her.
That's what we said. I feel like that this is more of a stretch.
Yeah.
Than but hey.
I love a good Hail Mary because when it lands.
And when it lands.
It feels so good for a half second and then so bad. Right
after. I'm like, oh man, why am I right?
We don't want it to be true. So OP responds, my wife and I have a Life 360. We work in office buildings next to each other. That is how we met. And when we're not working, we spend most of our time together. Could she be cheating? Absolutely, but it would be pretty difficult for her to do that.
I mean, as Jeff Goldblum says, life finds a way. So does cheating, you know?
That's life. OP responds to a downvoted comment regarding getting involved with JR's situation. I'm guessing maybe like getting after him for like hiding it and protecting him. OP says, on top of that, I think you got too involved in a situation that doesn't really concern you. OP says, the situation does concern me. First, this is outside of my brother, the man closest to me in the whole world. Second, he has asked for my help in the situation. Third, he was with Maggie, at least in part, at my prompting and suggestion after they met via me. I'm not saying you can't refer him to open housing or to help him pack up, but I think helping him facilitate all of the pre-planning makes you look a little bit of an a-hole. You can't throw your hands up now and say it's none of my business and not my place to tell when you quite literally made it your business by executing this big butt secret plan with him. Everyone sucks here. Just quick gut take on that. Do you agree with any of that?
I mean, maybe.
It's tough because there's so much conflict of interest.
it's like, do you, if you tell your wife, then she tells Maggie. It's
exactly.
like, You know,
Which I think she definitely would have done, knowing her response now.
if a friend comes to you and asks, "Hey, I need your help, but please don't tell your wife," what do you think about that?
Dude,
That's tough.
It is. I've honestly been buying time because it is really, really hard. Maybe,
I think you could say like, "Hey, I won't tell her right now, but I do have to tell my wife eventually."
yes.
And then you tell your wife, and your wife is probably mad that you didn't talk about it earlier.
Maybe also you could be like, hey, listen, JR's going through some stuff. He has asked me to, respect his privacy. And because of the situation, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm telling you, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, I like that. I like the tell I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what OP could have done to not be the a-hole to his wife.
So OP responds to this critique. I have no idea where you see me saying it is quote unquote none of my business. I am saying that I have been asked to keep JR's location confidential, and I am just doing that. Another comment, shouldn't OP be concerned about his niece's relationship with JR? OP said he did tell her goodbye. He did not tell her to lie. Of all people here, she is not upset with him being gone. Her dad poisoned the well and told her to keep her distance from him, and she generally did. She's not upset at all that he's gone. So maybe they didn't even have a good relationship, so she doesn't care.
Yeah, that sucks though.
But I guess it doesn't affect her too.
Yeah.
Commenter says, if Maggie and Becca were not close, then why is Becca so angry? If she knows that Maggie cheated, why is she threatening divorce over it? Does she condone Maggie's behavior? If she doesn't, then she would side with you and respect JR's right to his privacy. At the very least, she would stay out of it. This is why hooking people up is so hard, because at some point you will be choosing sides. Maggie cheated and will have to live with the consequences of her actions, and I would have a long talk with Becca about her behavior and the stance that she took against you and JR. She chose a side with the cheater, which says a lot about her character. You might want to check out what's been going on with Becca, that she would choose the side of a cheater. When you side with a cheater, you might be one yourself. Don't hold that against me.
I don't agree with that. She's siding with her sister. You know, and I feel like that's different than yes, not the best move because she did cheat, and I don't think that's the side she should take, but she sided with her sister.
I think, and maybe this wasn't mentioned, she should have at least been condemning her in this process, being like, listen, I know she totally fumbled the bag, but so you're not the a-hole, but Becca and Maggie are. JR ghosted Maggie, and that needs to be respected. He doesn't want a confrontation, and he doesn't want to hear her lies. As a friend, you don't have the right to betray his confidence, not even to your wife. OP responds to this. If Maggie and Becca were not close, why was Becca so angry? If she knows that Maggie cheated, why is she threatening divorce? Okay. Becca's tendency when a crap hits the fan is for anything is to go into fix-it mode. She is an engineer by training. She gets incredibly angry at anything she perceives as in the way of fixing the problem, issue, bug, etc. It's her default belief that anything can be fixed. So she thinks what Maggie did is very crappy, but there's no way to undo it. So why fixate on it? She thinks the only productive thing to do now is try and fix it. She thinks she can fix it. I am telling her, no, you can't. And in her mind, I am stopping her from fixing it. So she's very pissed at me for that. We have an update a month and a half later.
Whoa.
I am guessing we might have some reveals on where JR is at. Maybe some communication finally starts happening between JR and Maggie.
Which would be great. I mean, I'm curious what chat thinks about OP not telling his wife JR's secrets.
Maybe a poll, tell wife or nah.
Yeah.
I'm very curious too. And also your quick thoughts on, OP has the reasoning for why the wife is basically I guess frustrated with him. But I feel like, yes, we have the logic and reasoning behind it, but it's not a good behavior. It's not worthy of threatening divorce. He's like, oh, you're getting in the way of me fixing the problem. That's how you are perceiving fixing the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is trying to give her the benefit of the doubt as much as possible.
Yeah.
But I do think it's pretty toxic behavior on the wife's part. And although OP understands it, I don't know if it should be excused.
But we're going to get into this update a month and a half later. By the way, this happened just a week ago. This is fresh, hot off the presses. So, weeks after the post, Becca let it slip that I knew where JR is located. This caused a slew of intimidation from Maggie and my mother-in-law. I refused to tell him where he is. Some choice words were exchanged between Maggie and
I don't think that Becca, OP's wife, did it accidentally. I think she leaked it on purpose.
Yeah, let it slip.
Yeah,
Oops.
yeah.
My
I think it was
bad.
intentional. That's pretty messed up on the wife's part.
Yeah. So I told Maggie she's not allowed in my house until she apologizes to me. She refuses, so I have not seen her or my in-laws in about a month. Since the end of March 2025, Maggie has been living again with my in-laws. Becca tried to get me to agree to let Maggie and my niece move in,
I really don't think that's a good idea.
but I refused based on the conflict that I have with Maggie and Becca's behavior the last couple of months. Becca explained to me why she has been behaving the way she has the last couple of months.
Okay.
Hey, are we going to see, is there a reason that explains Maggie's cheating and all of it? Is it all going to be explained like, oh yeah, of course. Like,
The thing though is it's like, it doesn't feel like Becca is changing any of her behavior.
no,
It's
she's
like,
still
hey, I
doing
want
bad.
to tell you why I've been like being so terrible the last couple months and will continue to be terrible.
Yeah. I feel like it's giving the same thing as before where Opie's like, oh, my wife just like, anytime someone gets in the way of her fixing the problem, she gets mad. It's like, yeah, that's not good. Yeah.
That shouldn't be excused.
Yeah. Maggie's ex has said that if Maggie moves back in with my in-laws, he's going to go for full custody of my niece.
Oh.
So that he's going to take the kid away from not just Maggie, but the whole side of the family, right? Has the potential to.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, like, can he do that? I mean, I feel like living with your parents isn't necessarily a hostile environment.
I guess you could argue she doesn't have, place to live. Like I have everything. She has nothing. Now, the neighborhood where my in-laws live in is rough, and there's a fair bit of conflict between Maggie and my father-in-law. Since moving back in, my niece's dad's lawyer, so the dad, has reached out and indicated that they are going for full custody. Becca is blaming me and JR for this.
I mean, that's not fair at all, dude.
This is not...
Dude, I don't know. Like,
Maggie created this situation.
It feels like this is not a stable environment for a kid.
No!
And it doesn't feel that Becca is that great of... With this story, I'm not getting a lot of confidence that she's a great mom.
Opie says she is convinced that if they knew he was leaving, they could work something out to keep them together or at least keep Maggie in the apartment. I do not think this is the case at all. By the way, you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this, ladies and gentlemen. More hot tea for you. Just go to Spotify, Apple, or iHeart Podcast app and search OK Storytime. We got 2,000 episodes of juicy stories to listen to, but we're going to dive right in to the ending here. So JR is still processing, but was willing to speak to Maggie now. So we're finally getting some communication. So he reached out a couple of weeks ago. This past weekend, Maggie and JR spoke via FaceTime. Maggie wanted an in-person meeting, but JR absolutely refused. Maggie apologized and tried to get JR to reconsider for my daughter, for the stepdaughter. JR refused, which...
Understandable.
Like,
yeah,
like,
dude, Jay's trying to preserve his peace.
Yeah,
man.
you didn't make this mess.
Yeah, they're not even married. Like they're just,
the daughter doesn't like him. Like,
yeah, I mean, there's nothing for him there.
It's all kind of like selfishly in Maggie's interest, I feel like everything. Maggie had an emotional outburst. JR hung up on her. There's no plan for him to speak to her again. We got some relevant comments. So was Maggie on the lease with JR? Opie says she was on the lease. She did not qualify for the apartment on her own and cannot meet the qualifications. The situation between my in-laws and Maggie was contentious before she moved in with JR. I don't know if my niece's dad will win the custody battle, but what I do know is that one, my niece has expressed being scared at my in-laws' house.
Oh.
Again, it was like it's not unsafe neighborhood, they said.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Dude. I mean, hey, that I feel like that's
a big
enough.
indicator.
That's a big indicator, dude.
Number two, Maggie cannot afford to fight him on custody. And three, generally the quote unquote best interest of the child is the standard in our state, and the living situation with her dad
Which is a great standard.
Yeah, it's a good standard. It's a good standard. And Opie says the living situation with her dad would be significantly better. So I think what we were assuming is right. He's kind of like economically in a much better place.
Take this kid away from Maggie.
I mean, commenter says your wife is delusional. Do not let Maggie move in. She will never move out.
Agreed.
Commenter number two says Maggie effed up. Maggie continues to F up, and Becca is trying to make Maggie's F ups your problem or JR's. And it's neither. You need to take care of Maggie and her kid because she has an active father who is likely has a
or you don't need to.
You don't need to take care of Maggie and her kid because she has an active father who likely has a valid reason to be upset about the current situation. Maybe Maggie having no custody will wake her up because all of this is through her own actions.
Yeah.
She had a good guy and she cheated. she can't take care of herself and her kid, and her parents have issues with her. The common denominator is Maggie. Like, yeah. And you need to have a conversation with your wife that this isn't your problem and you don't want to make it your problem. Becca needs to recognize that Maggie has been her own worst enemy, and Becca needs to figure out if she wants to keep that BS drama in her life. You can easily walk away, and that's a conversation that should come up. And commenter number 3 closes us out. Not the a-hole, and honestly, you've been the only adult in the situation. Becca blaming you and JR for Maggie's custody issues is wild. Considering Maggie's own choices blew up her life, JR owes her nothing, and the fact that she tried to emotionally manipulate him for your daughter, quote unquote, is so gross. Like, your daughter deserves love, not guilt-leveraged relationships. You set boundaries, stuck to them, and protected someone who needed space to heal. That's not betrayal. That's loyalty with a spine.
Yeah, I mean, shout out OP for sticking to their guns and sticking to their morals. Not easy when, like, it seems like everyone is against you, making you feel crazy.
Yeah.
He's probably like, wait, literally, he's coming to Reddit because he's like, wait, am I crazy? Am I doing something wrong here?
Yes.
Because everyone in his life, like, I mean, his wife, Becky, Maggie, the parents, they're all being like, dude, what are you doing?
It's a strong reality to force. When you have literally, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in your life all telling you one thing, it is hard. It's hard. Stay in because you're like, wait, right.
Maybe I am wrong. But shout out Reddit for setting the record straight.
Yeah,
that's what we love to see. But that's where that story ends.
That's right. But not this episode.
Not this episode. We got another one for you that we're gonna get right into.
Give it to me.
My husband wants to have a baby with another woman.
It's gonna be our baby, babe.
Also, trigger warning, loss of pregnancy. But let's get into the story. So, I'm honestly in a bit of a shock after everything that has transpired in the past 24 hours and need some unbiased opinions to get me through. A little background, my significant other and I have been married for 4 years and together for 7. He's a civil engineer who is more so ambivalent to his career. His real passions lie in his hobbies, our relationship, and his friends. That's pretty cute.
Yeah.
I am an emergency medicine doctor, and this is my passion. By the way, this comes from Dr. McPuffy. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, I love my husband, my friends, and I have hobbies, but my work is my passion.
Ooh.
Becoming a doctor was my dream since I was 12, and I have made it a reality. Now, my issue. About 14 months ago, my husband was pushing me to get pregnant. He wanted a baby.
Ooh, he was pushing and he was pumping.
I honestly did not. OP did not want the pump.
Ooh.
I was finally hitting my stride at work. We had just bought our first condo together, and we weren't living a really kid-friendly life. I did not tell him this, most because I was a coward, and we have never really disagreed before, so I kept my mouth shut and decided it wouldn't be a huge sacrifice to have a baby. I could make it work. OP.
OP.
What do we always say, John?
Communicate early and often.
Communicate early and often.
Yeah.
Especially about something as big as a kid.
Dude, and she's carrying it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that is like, it's already like a big conversation about having a kid. But if you have to carry this baby and you're like unsure about it, that is so much pressure on you that you deserve the right to be able to.
And hey, maybe this is a hot take, but I think if you're not sure you want a kid, you should not have a kid.
I think I can get behind that.
Like, obviously accidents happen. Sup, Fia?
Hey.
Yo.
That's true. Accidents do happen.
Yeah, accidents happen and people change their minds all the time. Yeah. But like I think in this case, it feels like OP was actively unsure.
Yeah.
And
planning
then and then decided to just go ahead and plan. And I think all sorts of weird things can happen if you just force yourself into having a kid. We got pregnant. I was miserable. Pregnancy did not suit me, and I wanted it to be over. I felt disconnected from everything, especially my pregnancy, and I sought out therapy. My therapist told me that I was holding resentment against this baby, and I was in a great spot in my career and was more worried about that than my unborn child. He was right. I worked on this, and by month 6, I was really excited to have this baby. We turned that around.
Hopefully. Man, I'm nervous.
Hey, all right. I mean, I think we're in a good place. We're in a good place. My husband and I were in a better place. My resentment and attitude really hurt our relationship during this time, and everything was going well until it wasn't.
Here we go.
Around 7 months in, I had some horrible complications that have caused my chances of ever getting pregnant be incredibly low. I know that I am never getting pregnant. After the initial shock, recovering from the physical trauma and the emotional trauma, I won't lie, I felt relieved, massive relief. I didn't want to be a mother then, but I will down the road. I am a firm believer that this was just not meant to be, but my husband took it harder. With some therapy, though, on both our ends, we seem to be in a good spot until last night.
And so to clarify, it basically seems like
There was a miscarriage.
There was a
She lost the baby.
miscarriage.
She lost the baby. Last night, my husband approached me. He said that he really wants us to have a kid and forgives me
Oh, no.
for losing
Oh, no.
our
no.
son.
Oh, no.
Forgive me for losing my
no.
temper right now.
Oh, brother.
Oh.
That is so bad.
How do you say something like that?
That is so
That is so bad. Oh,
bad.
maybe he'll recover in the second half.
Let's see.
He knows that I cannot conceive, but reminded me that he is more than capable.
That
Makes it worse. Babe, I know you're infertile, but this sperm, this freaking Michael Phelps of the sperm over here.
I see you. I know where we're heading.
I also
I know
see
where we're
the
heading.
you.
I
Yep.
see the you.
Yep.
If we want a baby, then we need to look into adoption or getting donated eggs and going the surrogacy route. Right now, we aren't in a financial position for that either. Then he asks, what if there was another way?
Dude, this is like an infomercial, like where it's like, are you tired of trying to get babies
Pregnant?
by IVF, surrogate, and adoption?
Have you tried cheating on your wife?
Just ask her.
Yeah, surrogacy, but with less steps. You don't need to ask for your wife's permission.
Surrogacy that's surrogate free.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Naturally, I asked what? He told me. I literally was about to say, like, oh, yeah, there's this girl from work. He told me that there was a woman at work that he has known for several years. Apparently, she knows all about our marital problems and knows all about my health issues over the past years. He says that they recently went to drinks together. Bro, again, I just want to position this. This is like very recently after she lost her pregnancy. So first, he says, hey, I forgive you for losing the pregnancy.
Crazy.
Second, I'm as fertile as a bison in spring.
Yeah.
And third, I just confessed all of our marital problems to this hottie at work that I had drinks with, and I want to hook up with her for us.
Bro, this is so bad. Wow.
He said they recently went to drinks together. I was at an overnight shift, and after a few drinks, she offered to not only donate eggs, but to be our surrogate. This seems too good to be true, right?
She's like, we can even skip the donating eggs part.
Yeah.
We can just go right to the source.
Right to the source. Hey, yeah, and in fact, we knew you would be okay with it. So after drinks, we did a little surrogacy session,
Listen,
a little prep.
Why would we make you wait?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's so expensive.
It's so expensive. We wanted to get the process started now, and we might have to do it many times before we strike the
gold.
baby.
But don't worry, I am going to put in the work
every single day.
She will only do this if my husband impregnates her the natural way, having spicy sleep with her during her ovulation period until she gets pregnant. I was baffled by this.
It's so obvious. This is just cheating. This is literally just cheating.
He's trying to find a loophole.
And he's still like he hasn't checked in with her and been like, because think about it, she just lost a kid. She could probably have so many complicated emotions around.
Literally not checked in with her once. First, he was considering it and seemed genuinely excited for this. Yeah, I'm sure he was.
Yeah.
Second, that this woman would offer such a thing without ever having met me. And finally, that he had shared such intimate details with her.
Yes.
He said that he then followed up with her when they were both sober via text, and she responded, "Oh, I would love to have your baby."
It just keeps getting worse.
Okay, really quick.
It keeps getting worse.
Is there, I feel like this is just like a lily pad hopping. I feel like he's just trying to hop to the next thing.
That is a great point. And Irish Gigs in chat just made an incredible point too.
What?
She's already knocked
Yeah,
up.
a lot of people are saying that in chat.
Oh,
Dude. And they're trying to slide through and get away with it.
Oh my God.
The one thing I'll say against that, though, is I imagine she would just be like, unless she's just an absolute, just insane person, she would say, hey, we can still do like, basically either the turkey baster, we don't have to do natural, natural sex or whatever.
Yeah. This seems odd to me, and I question the mental stability of this woman. But then my husband's entire demeanor shocks me. I told him I wasn't sure about this.
Yes, you are sure about it.
I
You're
wasn't
sure that you don't want it to do.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it.
OP, you can say no.
You can say no.
If we go the surrogate route, I would prefer it to be all anonymous and our surrogate to be a stranger. I don't want this getting messy or having to worry about running into the egg donor. Instead of seeing the validity of my opinions, he told me that having a baby with him was non-negotiable. Wait, what? He told me that having a baby with him was non-negotiable, that this friend wants to help us. He wouldn't mind doing it her way and it would be the most cost efficient since we just discussed how we cannot afford it at this time. He told me that if I love him and want a baby, then I will do this for him.
Dude.
He's like, no, baby. I think that you're thinking about it for my sake. I don't mind. Just in case you were worried that I would mind. I don't mind.
I really don't mind. In fact, I want you with a camcorder so we can live this out for many moons to come. I tried to explain to him that I am not sure if I am ready for this and that I don't know if I am comfortable with all this, especially with him sleeping with someone else. He brushed that off, telling me, no big deal. If he were to sleep with her and then I'm overreacting, that he stood by while I got my dream and he was left alone/ignored. I never knew he felt this way and that I owed it to him to let him do this. Today I looked this woman up on Facebook and she is very attractive.
Oh, man.
I would say that my husband and I are both average looking, but she is definitely striking, which makes my anxiety go even higher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
Why are we doing this?
Why do this for us? I don't get what she gets out of this. Am I overreacting? This seems completely bizarre to me, and I'm questioning everything in our relationship. What should I do? We got some comments. We got some updates. But John.
Yes, sir.
What should OP do?
I know that OP struggles with
confrontation
and being honest. I think because of the severity of the scenario, I'm getting worried that husband's just going to kind of bulldoze his way through this. Maybe she could do something like get like a counselor or something and talk to them and be like, hey, can you help me like tell him how I really feel and like get this all together. And I think too, by proxy of that, the counselor would be like, oh,
hey, this sucks.
This is terrible. And he said, this is non-negotiable. Great. Then the deal is off. Our deal of like us being committed to each other is done. If you're not going to be able to even talk about any of these ridiculous things you're trying to make me.
I mean, would you say the relationship is over?
I think she has to leave.
Yeah, I think she has to leave.
So
but it's
bad.
I think, like to your point, like the counselor is just a way for her to understand that she has
realize
to leave.
that. Yeah. And to hopefully, I think this will be a good experience for her to learn the voice she deserves to have.
Yeah, exactly.
And stand up for herself.
Yeah, and like this is like one of the first ways she can train herself to like do that.
Yes.
But we got some comments. We got some updates. So comments. Are you sure she's not already pregnant? That's what we asked.
Hey.
Let's be asked. Well, I don't think she is. He told me that they mapped out her cycles and insinuated that I could help figure out when is best for her and that we could aim for a January insemination date so that we could have a fall baby. There is no way that she is already pregnant, assuming 6+ weeks, that they could fool me with a fall baby. And reply, this is so gross and inappropriate. Opie says it is. The fact that he has conversations with her about her ovulation cycles, which we didn't even talk about when we were trying to conceive, is grossly inappropriate. That didn't even hit me until I started reading some of the comments, and we have the update.
I'm so afraid. Everything out of this man's mouth is pure, utter, hot, steaming garbage.
I don't know why he just doesn't, go to her.
Leave.
Just leave.
There's the door.
Yeah.
You can walk out of it and just go.
It feels like there's such resentment from him to OP.
It's almost like he wants to like hold this over her and have like,
he wants
I forgive
control.
you. He's just like relishing in the pain that he's causing OP. It feels like.
Yeah, dude. It feels like he wants to punish her.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Ugh.
But we got an update.
Let's go.
So I spoke with my husband on Tuesday after he got home from work and before I had to leave for work. I explained to him that even though I do want kids down the road, I would not be comfortable with this friend being our surrogate and that this would not change for me ever.
Yes.
Foot down. But do you think we're going to, let's see if we'll actually move forward with it, maybe another foot down or maybe a retreat away from the relationship. All of it made me uncomfortable and honestly made me question his fidelity. He was shocked by this. His exact words were, "Are you saying that I cheated on you?" I laid it out for him, pointing out a lot of things that were pointed out to me from my original post and stated that even if he hadn't yet physically cheated, he emotionally cheated. He said that he did have an emotional connection with her, but beyond that, nothing else. I asked if they had spicy sleep, kissing, anything spicy related at all. He was baffled that I would even think this and adamant he did not have any spicy related contact with her. He reiterated that he loves me and I am the only one he wants. The whole idea of this was because he wanted to give us a family and help repair the loss. This was just a way to do that, and he never saw it as cheating because it would be something we both would agree to. I told him that isn't true because he emotionally manipulated me or tried to in going along with it. I told him I needed to know what their relationship was like. He admitted that over the past year, even while I was pregnant, he confided in her about my obvious lack of interest in the pregnancy and my disdain toward motherhood. So he did know and kind of just forced OP to continue into this path.
Not surprised in the slightest.
And again, it's like, I think it is terrible that he forced OP to do that. But also, and OP already said this, like, I think OP needs to learn to stand up for herself so she never gets in a situation like this.
Yeah.
And she's doing a much better job.
Big progress in how she's talking right now.
My disdain towards motherhood, his fear of me hating our baby, and the issues that persisted in our relationship. Apparently, she was shocked that I would feel this way towards a baby. She told him that she has only ever wanted to be a mother. Since then, they have only gotten closer, but he denies it has ever gotten physical or that he has felt any romantic inclinations towards her. I don't know. He said that the surrogacy was completely her idea, and she has been hinting at it for weeks, telling him how she would carry our baby for us, how he deserves to be a dad, but informed her that we did not have any frozen eggs. Her options were egg donation or adoption, which we couldn't afford. No problem, she suggested using her eggs, which is how the plan took shape. Conspiracy theory. She wants a baby and wants a donor, sperm donor, and wants to keep the baby. And this is her way of manipulating OP's husband into giving a sperm donation so she can have her own baby because she's only ever wanted to be a mother.
She's like, this is my way to.
This is my way to get a baby,
and it's cheap, it's free,
and it's free.
And he'll do it. I'm attracted.
Cheryl Emerson says she will not give up the baby. Yeah, I think she won't give up the baby. I don't even know she's fully interested in OP. Maybe she just sees a little baby opportunity.
What were you gonna say, Sophia?
Doesn't really matter whether or not he likes her or sees her in a romantic light, which I think is a lie anyway.
Yeah.
But she's clearly into him or like has some other ulterior motives.
Yeah. So there's something, some sort of connection that is not right here. Yeah.
They're not even, I don't think they're close enough friends for this to be a platonic friend thing.
Yeah.
You know? Like agreeing with Sophia, either it's romantic or she wants the kid herself.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Just telling about like her the medical things, and I don't know. It's just such a kind of feels like a betrayal of trust, honestly.
Oh, it is a huge betrayal of trust for sure. He said that they could do artificial insemination, but she said she didn't want medical records of this, and natural insemination would keep costs down. Yeah,
she didn't want medical records. She didn't want any kind of like documentation that would say that she had to give up the child.
I asked him what the F he was thinking talking to her about stuff like this and thinking that this was okay. He looked like a deer caught in the headlights. I asked him how he would feel if I did this, if he was the infertile one and I had an attractive doctor friend knock me up with no strings attached at his suggestion. How would he feel? He had nothing to say to this.
There you go.
I told him that I felt absolutely betrayed by all of this Clearly, she has some sort of mental health problems and an unhealthy attachment to my husband. But beyond that, his relationship with her is inappropriate. He said, obviously, I shared too much. I told him that I am upset that he forgave me, his quote,
Yeah.
for the loss of our baby, which I had no control over, and that he used that to emotionally manipulate me. He apologized for that. He never meant it to come out like that and in no way blames me. After that, everything calmed down, but I told him I needed some space from him for a bit. He asked if our marriage was over.
Oh,
I wonder if he wants that.
he wants her to do it.
He's like, is your marriage over?
Oh, dang.
No.
You're telling me I have to go impregnate the super hot coworker? Oh, shucks.
Dude, yeah, he's trying to do everything he can to like push her to the edge. Be
Yeah.
like, hey, I did all these things. I
Yeah.
didn't cheat though.
Because also,
I didn't cheat.
it is hard to break up with your partner.
Yeah.
It's much easier to like have them do it, the work,
Yes.
and like just push them away.
And him, it's almost like looking back on it now, it's almost like, oh, all of these things he's doing almost seem strategic to where it's like, yes, it will just push her to the brink of wanting to her initiate the breakup, but I mean, he still looks like a bad guy, but it's like, oh, I didn't cheat, or
Yeah.
I didn't do XYZ. Yeah.
I told him I didn't think so,
Girl.
but this has
Oh,
been
man.
really emotionally turbulent few days, and I need to process it. I think that's fair. I think her processing it and taking time is like she shouldn't make any like split-second reactions. He told me that he doesn't want our marriage to be over if this was something I was considering. He loves me more than anything and cannot bear to lose me over this. That losing our baby was devastating and has made him depressed, confused, and angry, but he does not want to lose me at all, which, might be true. Like people, when they're depressed and confused and angry, make terrible decisions. Maybe this is a short-term blindness.
I don't think so. Because even before they lost the baby, he was acting like this.
Well, I think he's just been so focused on having a kid that he's like ignoring her feelings and just trying to steamroll to this like goal of his.
Yeah, I think the evidence stacked is so damning that it's like you can't trust that he won't do things to hurt you at this point. It's just so much evidence.
A lot of his behavior has been really hurtful.
Yeah.
I don't think this relationship can I think he needs to get therapy, not to save this relationship, but to fix himself.
Yeah.
100%.
I told him he should not have thought about that before planning to stick his wiener in crazy. I told him that if he wants to keep open communication, he needs to cut ties with her. Obviously, he works with her, but nothing beyond whatever work contact they have to have. He needs to go to individual counseling and come to at least one counseling session with me per week. Before he left, he changed his phone number, blocked her on Facebook, and deactivated it. He told me that he would give me access to whatever I wanted to see to prove that the relationship is severed and that it was nothing more than what he told me. His parting words were, "I just want to build a family with you," which absolutely gutted me. Wednesday afternoon, I checked his email. There was nothing. Nothing deleted bin or recovered deleted items in Outlook. Facebook was hard to look at. There were a lot of chat messages between the two of them spanning the last 8 months. When he added her on Facebook, overall his messages were friendly. A few times he was flirty, but never spicy related or what I would consider too much for what should be friends. But hers were pretty clear in her meaning. The messages are clear. She's making some kind of play for him. I took screenshots of all the conversations. Don't worry, I triple checked for any deleted messages, hidden apps, or other messaging services, and deactivated his Facebook. I have his iPad. The iPad.
Dude.
They never remember to delete the messages on the iPad.
The iPad tells
dude,
all, bro.
like how many relationships have been destroyed for better because an iPad caught them red-handed, like so many.
Oh, shout out Steve Jobs, man.
Well, I have his iPad and was able to look at the messages on there. They appear to delete every 30 days, which left me with that to look at. Overall, the texts and chats line up with his story, but the whole exchange about the logistics makes me sick. She talks about making a baby as though it's a date, that she doesn't want it to be sterile or feel like she's being used. Her comments were inappropriate, but he never stopped her or corrected her. She even insulted me several times when he expressed concern about how I would feel, saying things like, "She's cold-hearted, and maybe you should just do this on your own so you don't have to worry about her rejecting the baby. Do this on your own with me."
Yeah. Yeah. She clearly, like Sophia said, there is some ulterior motive. Is it she wants him? She's like romantically interested.
him.
Does she just want him as a sperm, as a baby juice donor? It's something.
She wants him, but man, what a crazy move on her part.
Oh, insane.
Crazy. How old are all of them? Do we know? Did we get those ages?
I don't think so.
Sophia? I don't know if we
And
got
then
it.
also
32 male and 32 female.
Okay. And then also, if she is just looking for like a baby daddy, for a donor, why go to? This is such a complicated situation. Go to a single dude.
Yeah.
That's like down that you like.
But she's it created the attachment with this guy from work.
Yes.
Feels comfortable.
Yeah.
He didn't really stand up for me, but said that he didn't think I would do that. It was all very hard to read, but I feel better about my decision overall. By the way, if you want to feel better about your decision to spend more time with us,
oh God,
you should listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's another relevant update, but John,
yes, sir.
I feel like we're not quite getting away from the relationship with the speed that we may need.
Yeah, he is just. I feel like there's like a time and place in a relationship where the trust of them kind of like caring for you, is just like completely obliterated, and he's
obliterated it,
nuked it.
Yeah,
just absolutely nuked it, and OP just needs it. And you know what? I think she's getting there, and she's realizing she's coming out of like being non-confrontational and not wanting to rock the boat, and I think
which is good. This is like character development, at least like on one side.
Yeah, thank God she caught it before they had. Imagine if they had a baby together.
Oh my God!
So thank God it was caught now.
We didn't really speak on Wednesday. He checked in a few times, but I let him know that we would talk Thursday morning. He let me know that he turned in his letter of resignation Wednesday morning.
Huh? So like basically being like, hey, I'm gonna cut her off so hard I'm quitting.
Yeah. I think he's trying. I think he knows how massively he effed up, and now he's like I'm gonna lose my wife.
Hail Mary.
Yeah, which is better than
not. I guess
not. I think he is showing that he's choosing her. I just don't necessarily I don't think we have enough information to show that he's actually changed and is not manipulative.
Yeah, but
I do think he's trying to send a message to her like, hey, I'm choosing you. I don't care about this woman. Like, I'm cutting her out of my life.
Even that, though, it's just the stupidity of that's got to be damaging to his career. And that's also, the financial stability of both of them. I don't know. It's just.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Miss Jaybird says he's making a lot of big decisions without talking to OP.
True. Why didn't he go to her and say hey, I'm willing to do this. Would this make you feel better? Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Also, I just think if I didn't hear the beginning of the story, came in the middle of it.
Whoa.
But I think if you guys, if there's ever a couple where one person doesn't want to have a child and one person does, that just cannot work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You guys have if that's a deal breaker for you, that cannot work.
Yes. He said it was a non-negotiable.
That is true.
Yeah, it was a non-negotiable for him, and OP was clearly I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But that's just a relationship that can't work.
Yeah.
With no matter the therapy, because you guys have
just want different things.
Yeah.
Also, Sophia, you're glowing, by the way.
Stop.
Yeah, it might be the light behind you.
You're positively glowing.
He hasn't heard from her, but doesn't intend to seek her out to say goodbye either. He apologized. He just thought he was doing the right thing and thought this would make me happy. I still feel extremely betrayed. He is dealing with loss and other things. We both agreed that our communication has really deteriorated in the past year and that we need to fix this. So no lawyer, no gym, just therapy for us. I do think we went to some pretty crazy dark places. I will say he does feel like he's at least improving a little bit. And I do think going to therapy is really important. And I do think she is taking back her power.
Yes.
I think he's made her feel very powerless in this. And, but yeah, I'm just, I think we need a lot of therapy and a lot of space to make this relationship work if we even think it should.
I think they have different values. I don't think it can work.
Yeah.
I don't think it can work. Maybe they could have gotten through all of this stuff had she wanted a child, but They just want different things.
Well, I think that's where that story ends
And
and this episode ends.
I'm sad.
Well, you're about to get more sad because if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
Oh, we love you.
And see you tomorrow.